Okay, actual, correct Star Station. Game number 2, currently Solar is up 1-0 in the top left as our teal Protoss. It is going to be Romson.
And in the bottom right-hand corner, the blue Zerg once again from Samsung Galaxy, it is Solar.
Ooh, IEM is in 11 minutes. I might add an additional $10 to the prize pool if they can finish it in 10 minutes. No bias, hashtag. 10 minutes is worth cheesing 4 times. Don't lie to me. Or $10 is worth cheesing. But no, it probably won't happen. These guys actually seem to be like pretty evenly matched. Like I think Solo is definitely still, you know, probably the better player, but Romson can definitely hold his own. So I don't think he'd be willing to maybe throw away any games on anything else.
Yeah, for sure. I'd like to see Romson take the next map. Get the full 5 games out of these guys, because I think the last match didn't really give Romson a chance to show his skill in this matchup. Like, we know he's good, obviously, because he 2-1 Bly first off in the first round. And then he also went through... Oh, yeah, Jarchi 2-1. I already forgotten who it was. Thank you, Rivkin. But yeah, so he's got the skills to pay the bills, so to speak. He's just had a rough time in the last game, so maybe Solo has his number, but I do have confidence that he can at least take a couple of maps here.
I think he can take, you know, definitely a map here and there. Plus, mutas, you're right, mutas are like one of the hardest things that Protoss are dealing with. I feel like it's not just like I'm bad versus Protoss versus Zerg, it's I'm much worse at Protoss versus mutas. It's a common ailment right now. So I'll have to see if Romson can maybe do a lot better, fare a lot better against maybe the more typical Zerg, like Ling Hydra or Roach Hydra.
Yeah. And he's gone straight for the Speedling and pull follow-up from the hatch first. Without having seen that there's a gateway expand just yet, he's pretty much predicted that that's what Solo's going to do. So hopefully this match will be a little bit more prepared, because last match he did actually lose a queen to the pressure that Romson put on, which was really nice. And, you know, I have to say, Romson didn't even play that last game badly. He just got caught out by the mutas. We saw him push twice, pick off queens, pick off a few drones, and get out of there with his entire army intact, get his third up uncontested. So things were going all right. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a similar sort of thing to start off this next game, but perhaps switch it up into a Stargate opener or something like that. That seems to be very, very common on Star Station.
Yeah, and it's really just anything that can get some pressure out there. Take control of the map a little bit, force the Zerg player not to make drones, so it's either 3-4 gate pressure or, you know, Stargate. Sometimes you see people just open up with like a Robo or a Twilight Council or something like that and don't apply a whole lot of pressure. It's just really risky to do that, because, you know, that is also your scouting a lot of the times, is that pressure you're applying.
Yeah, for sure. I'm a huge fan of any kind of pressure builds, because the Zerg will definitely run away with their economy if you don't come at them with anything. And while some Protosses who are very good defensively do very well just sitting back and doing nothing, just taking bases and waiting until they have that death ball composition, it is, like you said, a little bit risky. And perhaps I would go as far as to say that Solo's probably the favorite in this matchup. So I don't know if Romson feels that way, but if he is, he probably doesn't want to run the risk of just playing defensively. So already we've got those two.
According to the chat last game, he said Koreans born Gosu, so
yeah,
he might think he's a little bit of an underdog. Actually, Solar was complimenting. If anyone didn't catch the chat, Solar was complimenting him, saying top GM EU, so impressive. I wouldn't be able to get that, and Romson said no, Korean born Gosu. So. They seem to be both like chiding each other and how impressive they think each other are, I guess.
Yeah. Pretty cool respect. We've got a few links coming out here to meet these units. The Mothership Core hasn't quite arrived yet, so they're on their own for the time being. He might actually be able to get the Zealots and the Stalker. Yep, just sent the Mothership Core home, and those units did nothing. So now I can use those links for map control. Find this probe. Will he actually see it?
Ooh, barely.
Stealthy.
See, this probe like style of map, you know, like Star Station and Derelict Watcher, it helps the probe blend in. True fact. Yeah. Actually, he just ran right there. He'll probably try and poke at the front, see at least what he has. Solo's also apparently not the type of Zerg who just relies only on Lings. He might only use Lings, but he always makes sure to get a Roach Warren at some point in case something happens. And it's good, because Romson, hey, coincidentally, is getting 6 extra gateways, going for a 7-gate all-in or an 8-gate all-in? 8 gates?
Yeah, 8 gates, I think.
Darn. That's a lot of gateways. So hopefully Solar will scout this, else he will be just steamrolled.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Overlord actually is just positioned to see the natural gas. So he's seen it taken at about 7 minutes 15. It's a little bit late. So he should probably actually sacrifice his Overlord into the main and check out what's going on, because he doesn't have 100% information. He hasn't seen any tech, he hasn't seen a robo, he hasn't seen any Stargate or Stargate units out on the map. He's got to be wary that something is coming at him, and I think he just caught, yeah, he's caught those units coming out of the base. He should know he's up against a push right now. Roach is immediately in production, and he's also starting to head that Overlord over to the main
Here's
base.
one of the things, is that last game, Romson actually attacked with attacks very similar to this, right? But it wasn't behind 8 gateways. So I feel like that last game was just a prep for this game to try and catch Solar even more off guard. Unfortunately, no wait, Solar's Overlord didn't actually continue going.
No, it didn't.
Well, Solar I still think is gonna prepare against his attack just because it did do damage last time, and it's gonna be lucky for him because it's also actually this time backed by 8 gateways.
Yeah, and maybe seeing all these pylons go down might signal to him a little bit more that this is a bit more of a serious push. It, of course, isn't quite as early as it was last time, so and that's a good idea of what's going on. Even getting a spine crawler. Oh, can he get those roaches? He does catch 3 of them out.
Yeah, it's gonna be difficult. Really, you know, an attack like this really benefits from being kind of a surprise for as long as possible. So usually when Solar has enough units like he does, he just needs to buy some time and he will roll over the Protoss in terms of economy and production. But Romson with good force fields can make anything happen. The Smuggler has been rooted. It's really helping out right now. The Ling's getting chopped up nice and easy, and the drones are being pulled. The roaches, where are the rest of the roaches? He made a lot of Lings, but not a whole lot of roaches.
I don't know, a few of them got caught. It looks like maybe he has enough to push this back. He's focusing down the sentries so that they are non-issue. The spine collar adding so much damage to this. Got 4 kills on its own already. 30 more Lings in production. Looks like he will be able to hold this off, but goodness, that was tough. Really great position with the force fields and zealots by Romson.
Yeah, this might already be over, honestly, or actually just more desperate for Solar, I should say, if the proxy pylon was so far away. But Solar, he's had a lot of Lings. There's not a whole lot of zealots anymore. Romson's pretty much been morphing in nothing but stalkers for quite a while. This is going to work in Solar's advantage. He loses his 3rd, but his economy is still okay. 39 to 38 workers in Solar's lead. I don't think this attack's going to work out for him. Yeah, those Lings are doing great damage. A lot of roaches still left over as well.
Yeah, he's continuing to move forward using the creep, the speed from that to close in a little bit more. Mothership Core still getting free hits off on these units, and they're actually going to chase these stalkers down, which is nice if you can get as many of those as possible. But decent damage done from Romson, getting that 3rd, getting a few drones. This is certainly not the position that Solar wants to be in. He wants to have that 3rd still so that he can just top it off with drones and then head into more tech. But instead, he's stuck on Roach Ling. In the meantime, though, what does Romson actually have to defend against a counterattack?
Yeah, that's the big question, is when attacks like that die, you have to survive a very big counterattack, and that is oftentimes the hardest part. In fact, he loses a bunch of stalkers, you know, just because they're trapped outside the base. This is not looking good for Romson whatsoever. He managed to kill a 3rd, but he can't hold his own against the counterattack. That's really where it was important. So much stuff is going down.
He's doing his best, swapping in some extra sentries to try and zone out those roaches. But there's 4 in the main right now, and he really just, at the end of the day, does not have the numbers to keep up with this. No more force fields left, and now Solar can actually press in here, punishing him for losing those units. Imagine if he had been able to recall those stalkers, it might have looked different. GG.
Yeah.